Get down here to class, 1232 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Shalom, Lord in Christ, to my brothers and sisters, man. Y'all need to come down to 1232 North King Street, where the truth resides, man. ISUPK Delaware. We definitely representing doing some big things.
Right? 202 North DuPont Boulevard in Smyrna, Delaware.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Come and be a part of this rising thing that we got going on here in Delaware.
I hear everybody claiming that they love the Lord and love God and all that. Well, get in here and show it. You know what I mean? The scriptures say faith without works is dead. So if you ain't doing nothing, your faith is dead. So get up and do something. What you need to do is get your ass up and get in the class. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing else. You're sitting home wasting time. Wasting time. Everything is going on around you, and you don't know how to compartmentalize these things. You understand? I'm on my way to class right now, like you should be. You know what I'm saying? Class don't stop for nothing.
I'm gonna keep it 55th straight. Shout out ISUPK.
Let's go ahead.
His watchmen are blind.
His watchmen are what?
Blind.
His watchmen are what?
Blind.
That's what need to be. That's what need to be happening. There need to be more black women loving their husbands.
Religion, if you serve any religion, you're serving another God. The word religlia is the Latin word that means to separate or divide. That's the root word of the word religion. Now, if you serve any religion that's not in the Bible, you're serving another God. There's no religion in the Bible.
It's that nonsense. And that's why he raising up his priests and prophets here in the ISUPK. Shout out ISUPK. Classes all week, 7, 5, 9 p.m. The brothers dropping that knowledge. Get in class. No excuses. Don't see no motherfucking customer.
Hey, what's good, Zariah, man? What's up? Get your ass up. Oh, man, you always be tripping. What's going on, man?
What's good, Red?
Hey, man, they was clowning you at work today, man.
So?
I mean, we watched the video a couple times, but we really couldn't tell if it was you.
Yo, how's your eye?
Oh, it's cool. God damn!
What's up, Mark? What's up, Mark? Yo, let me get one of them flyers, man.
Man, I ain't giving you shit. You better get the hell out of here before Cat Pop come out here.
Man, come on, man. Why you gotta be like that, man? I'm trying to come to class, man. Why you acting crazy?
Man, you need to go do that.
Man, I ain't giving him shit.
Man, what? Man, you ain't gonna give me check. We need brothers to come to class.
Damn, man. Ite me yato me tararo tato.
Man, you fucking racist, man. Give me this goddamn flyer, man. You acting crazy, home.
Man, fuck you.
Oh, shit. T-Bow, nigga.
What?
Who? T-Bow.
Oh, damn, I ain't been to class in a minute. Shit. Oh, shit.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Red? Thanks for the bike. What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing.
I thought you already collected the time.
I did, but I want Red's 10%.
Stall him out.
What's up, Red? What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing, man.
Oh, yeah. You got something.
I ain't got. Hey, man, that's messed up, man.
Shut your ass up or I knock your ass out.
Yo, T-Bow, man, that's messed up, man. Give him his money back.
What money?
Right now. The money.
Hey, man, why ain't y'all help me?
Yeah, man, I paid my tithes.
Man, that's fucked up. If it was y'all, I would have helped y'all.
What about the time he took the tithes from me in Zariah's backyard?
Oh, that was different.
Man, let's jump him.
Man, sit your ass down, man.
Man, I got mind control over Tebow. When he here, I pay my tithes. But when he leave, I pay my tithes.
Man, damn, man. I should have just paid my tithes, man.
Man, that nigga gonna cry in the car.
He should have paid his tithes.
Shit, real shit.
This shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a mention. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spitting. Album so high, I had to give them an extension. One West till they bury me. Yeah, that's the commitment. Don't trust the soul, niggas purring or they hit this shit. What I speak is the
What's up,
truth.
y'all?
I don't care if it's offensive.
What's up, Red?
Life that I chose, no turning
Thanks for the
back,
bike.
no endless. They don't understand.
You got on my ties,
so
homie.
tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them.
God damn, man.
Life shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive.
God
Life
damn.
that I chose, no turning back. So they don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness.
Tebow,
Rain on them.
nigga.
Tebow. Reincarnation. So you know this endless. I'm solidified and stamped. That's why I walk with a signet. Build
I wanna
it from the
do-
ground up.
Salaya, what was
Good.
Don't
Be like,
push
man,
it
that's
into my
fucked up. If it was
business.
y'all, I would've helped y'all.
All right, word.
They say I walk
Man, that's
around
fucked
like
up. If it was y'all, I would've helped y'all.
Blameless. And if you ain't the same, I'm against it. Was born with the shit. The other half, I'm just gifted. 20 on me. Wish a nigga would so I could spend it. Start from the branch, then
I think we got a problem. Got a problem.
Let's go.
Get up. It's that club, you hear that? We can't sit down to that. Okay.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Sheek Louch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
We can't sit down to that.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Johanna. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID, and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gon' pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Nah, think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
All right. Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Shalom Shamar Al-Thamba Shem Yahweh Shah. All right. This is the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York since 1969 under commanding General Yohana. And we're here to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right. Tonight's class is class on why is there only 66 books in the Bible? Why is there only 66 books in the Bible? Now, the cover story, what's that called? The pinup, the thumbnail that I have, it shows a lot of these books that was prior to the 1611 King James Bible. All right. So these books that prior to the King, no. Prior to the King James Bible, the King James Bible, actually, there were 80 books in the Bible initially, and now there's only 66. All right. So, all right. So we're going to explore that. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Zandervan Bible Dictionary. All right. The Zandervan Bible Dictionary. Now, the Zandervan Bible Dictionary is it's a Bible dictionary, right? And it talks about how the King James was translated. All right. Now, before we read that, I want to tell you a couple things about King James. All right. This is an image of the black King James. King James was a black man. He was a black man. All right. He was a brother. All right. And King James actually, his family actually ruled and sat on the throne for 343 years. And this is what it says about King James. It says, now, just keep in mind, you got to get your mind, you got to get everything. You really have to be born again in order to understand certain things that we put out, because the oppressor has put out so heavy. He has put out so heavy on the internet and everything else by whitewashing King James. So when you think of King James, you think of a pale man. All right. But it says here, it says King James came from a long line of black Scottish Stuart kings. So his last name was Stuart. For 343 years of rulers, they ruled over Scotland for 343 years. The Stuarts not only ruled in Scotland, they ruled in France, Spain, Ireland, and England, Britain, and Wales. King James was able to rule all of these lands because of these people. These people were black. They were descendants. They were black descendants. All right. They were the same people. So all of these people that sat on the throne for 343 years, they were all the same people. They were all related by blood to the Stuarts. And the name Stuart means black. All right. And when he translated this, when he got the Bible translated, he didn't write it himself. A lot of people like to say, well, King James wrote the Bible. King James did not write the Bible. All right. And we're about to read how the Bible was translated. Remember, the Bible was written initially in Greek, in Hebrew and Greek. It was some parts in Daniel written in Aramaic. It might have been Daniel and Daniel and Ezra or Daniel and Nehemiah. But I know that when we went into captivity, this is the reason why. Think about it. When we went into captivity in Babylon, what was the language that they spoke? Aramaic. So this is why you have some chapters in the book of Daniel written in Aramaic. All right. But this is how the Bible was translated. Read.
God. This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 86. Bible, we were looking up the word Bible, and it's under the King James Version setting. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years as James VI. Several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized a new translation of the Bible to replace the bishop's Bible.
So notice it says he authorized it. It didn't say him and his family got together and sat down and wrote it. Go ahead.
47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups.
So it was 47 of the best Hebrew scholars, and they was divided into how many groups?
6 groups.
So they was divided into 6 groups. So this is not something that they just did. It's not something that they just got together and said, hey, listen, let's translate this book. He got top translators, top Hebrew scholars, 47 of them, and divided them into 6 groups. Go ahead.
Come. 3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New.
So there was 3 groups for the Old and 2 for the New. Go ahead.
And 1 for the Apocrypha.
And 1 for the Apocrypha. What's that? If you talk to Christians, they be like, the Apocrypha, what is that? What is the Apocrypha? You got anything else on it?
Come.
Go ahead.
2 of the groups met at Oxford, 2 at Cambridge, and 2 at Westminster. When a group had completed its task, its work was submitted to 12 men, 2 from each panel. Final differences of opinion were settled at a general meeting of each company. In cases of special difficulty, learned men outside the board of revisers were consulted. Marginal notes were used only to explain Hebrew or Greek words.
All right, that's the why.
That's the
why.
That's the highlighted.
So we understand and we see and we know that the Bible was translated in the King James. It was translated from the original tongue. That's very important. Now, when I was a Christian, right, and I was actually studying, I was not a Christian that just went to church and just listened to what they said. I was a Christian that actually went over information that was given to us. All right. When I went inside of these buildings, I went over that information. I didn't just feel good when I left for a season and then I'm right back. No, I was dedicated to it. And by me being dedicated to it, what I began to notice is that a lot of the NIV, the Revised Translation, the New King James, all of these translations I noticed was translated from the King James Bible. I noticed that it came from the King James Bible. How did I know? It's because the King James Bible, whenever you got words written in italics, right? Whenever you got words written in italics, those words that's written in italics was added by the translators. It's very important. Let me give you an example. All right. We're going to be in the book of Daniel. Can you go to Daniel chapter 8 up? I'm going to give y'all an example on what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you a heavy example. How about if I give you a heavy example? Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Now, I'm going to give y'all a heavy, since I'm dealing with Gino and all of those guys. I'm going to give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. You got that up?
Oh, God, 14. And...
Give me verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 and 2.
Oh, God.
Now, it's very important that you understand what I'm saying, because what this will begin to do is this will begin you of tearing down false doctrine. All right. This will begin you tearing down false doctrine. All right. Go ahead. I'll read that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1.
Now, I want you guys to look at the board when he's reading this. All right. Go ahead.
Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy.
So what word was added by the translator? The word gifts. The word gifts was added by the translators. So now read that without that word.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1.
Come on.
Follow after charity and desire spiritual.
See? So the translator, he added gifts so you can understand exactly what the Most High spiritually was speaking about right here. All right. So this is not a harmful add-on, because look, this is not forming a doctrine. But watch this, verse 2.
But rather, verse 2, for he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God. For no man understandeth him. Howbeit, in the spirit he speaketh mysteries.
So now, what word was added by the translator? The word unknown. Oh, now this becomes major at this point. Why do this become major? This become major because the word unknown tongue, that's a doctrine. Unknown tongue is, according to, as one would say, this is the evidence that I have the Holy Spirit. But notice the word unknown was added. So if the word unknown was added, is there really a such thing as something called the unknown tongue? Is it really? Because those that translated it, they put the word unknown there. So what does it say? It says, for he that speaketh in an unknown tongue, speak not unto men. Now, what if we was to take that word unknown out and notice that the word tongue is singular? It's singular. It's not plural, right? So now when you read it, go ahead, read that verse 2 out.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 2.
Come on.
For he that speaketh and you want me to take the unknown, the italics out?
Take the italics out.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 2. For he that speaketh in a tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God. For no man understandeth. Howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries.
Now, okay, so now let's read this without the mysticism in it. Let's read this without the magic in it, right? Without the unknown tongue in it, right? He said, for he that speak in a tongue, meaning if he that speak in a language, right? Speak it not unto men, but unto God. So what is he saying? When you come inside of a gathering, right? And you speaking a language that nobody else understands, then no man can understand anything that you're saying. To them, it's a mystery. The only one that understand what you're saying is the Most High God. So when it says, for he that speak in a tongue, speak not unto men, but unto God, for no man can understand him. We can't understand him if you speak in a language that we don't know. So this is why the translators, when they translated it, for he that speaketh an unknown language, speaketh not unto men, but unto the Most High God. No man can understand him. However, in the spirit, he's speaking mysteries, meaning spiritually, nobody understands him. So it's an unknown to those that are there. This is why those that are there, they can't say what? Amen. So this is an example of what we mean by words that was added. Words that was added to the King James Bible was written in italics. So now we know that the Bible had the Apocrypha in it. The question is, why did they take it out? Why did they take out the Apocrypha? All right. We're going to give you some clues, and then we're going to tell you why they took out the King James Bible. What you got? I need you to read Salakia. Don't go to Apocrypha. Don't go to the to that. Yeah, let's go right to the book of Daniel. We're gonna get right into it. We're gonna get right into it. All right. So the book of Daniel, we were in captivity. All right. This is the time we were in captivity, and Daniel received a vision. All right. Now, this is one of the main reasons on why they took the Apocrypha out of the Bible. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on Daniel chapter 8, and we're going to focus on the Apocrypha itself. And we're going to show you the harmony between the two. And you have to ask yourself, well, why the hell did they take it out there? Because the harmony and the history that goes along with the Apocrypha is amazing. It never wondered to you as a Christian, when you go from the book of Malachi, then you go to the book of Matthew, the major change that went on between the two books. Like, think about it. In Malachi, we was in the Persian and Mede captivity. By the time we got to the New Testament, we was in the Roman captivity. So how did we get to the Roman captivity? What happened between that space between Malachi and Matthew? What happened? we're going to go over some things and show you. You got it up?
Come.
Daniel 8:1. Let's get it.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 1.
Come on.
In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first.
Come on. So that means he's talking about the fact that he had received a vision in the, earlier in his captivity. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai.
Come on.
Verse 3, then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last.
All right. So now this is a vision that Daniel is receiving, right? And in this vision, what did he see? Before the river, a ram with 2 horns. So he saw a ram with 2 horns, right? And one of those horns was higher than the other. That's very important. And the higher one came up last. We're going to explore that, all right? And we're going to look and see who that was and who that is. So remember, he saw a ram with 2 horns, and one of the horns was higher than the other one. Go ahead.
Verse 4, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him.
All right. So the ram that was pushing northward, we're going to show you who the ram was. Shoot down to verse 20 up.
Verse 20, the ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
All right. Now go back to verse 4 of Daniel 8:4. So now we know who the 2 horns is. And the horn that came up last was what? Persia. So this was the captivity that we read about that we were in the book of Malachi. This is the captivity, the Persians and the Medes. Go ahead.
Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great.
So he became great. All right. So we're going to pause right there for a second. So this ram, which is the Persians and the Medes, right? And that last ram that came up last, that last horn that came up last, that's major. These are major prophecies. All right. And we know that these, the Persians and the Medes captivity, we know it's in the Bible, right? We know it's in those 66 books, right? But now when we get to verse 5, come on.
Verse 5, and as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
Oh, so now we have a goat in the vision. So Daniel is having a vision. Now remember, the purpose of this is we're going to show why it was very vital and very important for you not to take the Apocrypha that shouldn't have never came out. All right. And we're going to show why they took it out, why we only have 66 books and not the 80 books. Right. So in verse 5, it says, and as I was considering, and behold, a he-goat. So now you have a he-goat, and this he-goat had a notable horn between his eyes. So let's see who the he-goat is. Go to verse 21. Now remember, for the ram, we saw in verse 20 who the ram was. Now we're going to see who the he-goat is.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
So here we go. So the goat represent who? Greece. Represent the Greeks. All right. We went in a Greek captivity, but we didn't see it in the Bible as we got it now. In the Apocrypha, that's where we see the Greek captivity. So now we got some identity. We got an identity for the ram with the 2 horns And now we got an identity for the goat with one horn, right? We have the Persians and the Medes, and then we have the Greeks. And then the Greek has a notable horn, and that notable horn represents his first king. Read.
You want me to go back up or keep reading from 21?
Oh, go back up.
So verse 6. And he came to the ram that had two horns.
So the goat came to the ram that had two horns. Go ahead.
Which I had seen standing before the river.
Come on.
And ran unto him in the fury of his power.
So this is a battle. This is a war between the Greeks and the Persians and the Medes, right? Go ahead.
And I saw him come close unto the ram.
Come on.
And he was moved with choler against him.
Come on.
And smote the ram.
And did what?
And smoked the ram.
So the Grecians smoked the ram. Go ahead.
And break his two horns.
Broke both of them. Come on.
And there was no power in the ram to stand before him.
Couldn't do nothing with this Grecian king. Go ahead.
But he cast him down to the ground.
Come on.
And stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
So he stamped up on him, right? He trampled over. Am I saying that word right? Trampled. He trampled over him.
Sir.
He smashed him. It's like Mike Tyson. You know how Mike Tyson used to go in the ring and just wipe the ring up with him? That's what happened. This king, this Grecian, came and stomped the Persians and the Medes. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 8. Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great.
The what?
Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great.
So the he-goat got great. He waxed great. I mean, this king is a great king because this king took down everybody, the Persians and the Medes, everybody. All right, go ahead.
And when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
Come on.
And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven.
All right, so here we have where it says the horn became great. And then it says, it's talking about this goat, and that goat is dealing with that horn. So this horn, which is the first king of Greece, he became great and he was strong, right? And while he was in that state, it says, and for it came, Salakia, the great horn was broken. That's key. So while this goat was great, the horn was broken. So let me give you a recap real quick. You got the ram. The ram was waxed great just as well. And the ram had two horns. The two horns represented the Persians and the Medes, right? Then we see a goat. And the goat had a notable horn. And that notable horn represented their king. And that goat conquered the ram and both horns, right? And when it did that, it became great. And while it was great, this goat, it was broken. It's very important to understand that. And we're going to give understanding of all of this. But you know what we're going to use? We're going to use the Apocrypha to do it. We're going to use the Apocrypha to do it. And we're going to show you the harmony between the two. All right? Verse 9.
And so if I may, it also shows how scripture in the Bible speaks in metaphors. You're gonna see it translate a metaphor being or a parable or whatever being translated right before your eyes.
Right, and it's so critical that we understand this right here, because this is preparing you for the New Testament. I know a lot of people don't understand this, but you're going to see once we go into the Apocrypha, this is actually giving you understanding of what's going on. I'm gonna give y'all an insight in the New Testament. Remember, the New Testament was written in what?
Greek.
It was written in Greek. Well, the goat, who's the goat?
Right.
The goat was the Grecians. The goat was Greeks. So you got to think about that for a minute. Think about it. In the book of Malachi, we wasn't speaking Greek. But now when we get to the New Testament, it's Greek. And here we're reading about Greece and their king conquering land, conquering the Persians and the Medes, conquering everybody. He became great.
Right.
All right. You give me the rest of verse 8.
Come. The great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
Vital. This is vital. This is very, very, very important. This is not something that you're going to go over in church. All right. Church can read this, but they can't go through this because they don't have the Apocrypha. They have the 66 books. They got the books that was the Bible canonized for the New World. The New World received a canonized Bible of 66 books. So they took the Apocrypha out. So when it says, and it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of the heaven, vital. We're going to show you. Verse 9.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
When it says towards the pleasant land, you know who that's talking about? That's talking about Israel. That's talking about us, the pleasant land. Go ahead, up.
And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven.
Come on.
And it cast down some of the hosts
on.
And of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Come on.
Verse 12. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered.
All right. So now we see what's going on, right? We read from Daniel 8:1, Daniel 8:1 through 12. All right. And we see something going on here. Let's get a recap. All right. We got the ram with the 2 horns. We got the goat with the one horn, right? And once the goat waxed great and was broke, right? When that horn was broke, out of it came 4 notable ones to the 4 winds of the earth. And then out of those 4 came 1, and this one waxed very great. This one waxed very great towards the south, towards the east, and towards the pleasant land. Very important. All right. So now let's examine this. Why did we bring this up? How could this show that they took out the Apocrypha? Let's see. All right. So now we're going to go to the Apocrypha. We're going to go to the book of Malachi, Salakia, the book of Maccabee. We're going to go to the book of Maccabee, and we're going to actually start at verse 1. All right.
Come. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Come on.
And it happened.
It's look, he jumping out there from the rip and saying what?
And it happened.
And it happened. This is major. This is major right here. This is why the scriptures is saying, and it happened. Read.
After that Alexander, son of Philip.
Come on.
The Macedonian.
Read.
Who came out of the land of Chedum, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
The first over Greece. So now we know who the horn was. It was Alexander the Great. And it starts off and says, and it happened. And it happened. After that, Alexander. Who is Alexander? Alexander the Great. He's the one that came, and he's the one that conquered the Persians and the Medes, right? Let's read it. Shoot over to Daniel 8.
Okay.
And go to verse 7. Now, we're going to go parallel to show you that this should have been in the scriptures. This shouldn't have never been removed. It should have never been removed. All right? Daniel 8 and 7. Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 7.
Now remember, he just read, and it happened. I'm going to read this. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonia, who came out of the land of Chittim and smitten Darius, king of Persia and the Medes, that he reigned instead the first over Greece. That's what we read in the Apocrypha. Now we're going to read Daniel's 8 and 7. Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 7.
Come on.
And I saw him come close unto the ram.
So we know who the ram was. The ram is the Persians and the Medes. Go ahead.
And he was moved with choler against him.
So the Greece was angry with them. Alexander was hot with them. He was ready for war. Go ahead.
And smote the ram.
Come on.
And break his 2 horns.
Read.
And there was no power in the ram to stand before him.
Come on.
But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
Now we got it. Now we see that Alexander the Great is actually in the Bible. Now we see that Alexander the Great was in the Bible, but for some reason, those that colonized this land felt vital to take it out. They felt like it was very important to take that out, right? So we going back to Maccabees. Going right back to Maccabees. Look, Maccabees chapter 1 is really a breakdown of and give you a clear understanding. It's the best precept you can pull for Daniel 8. All right? You got that Maccabee 1 and 2?
Okay.
Read.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 2.
Come on.
And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Like they would look, listen, let me tell you something. They were shook. They was quiet before Alexander. When he came through that joint, everybody shut up. I don't care who was talking. When he came through, quiet time. Alexander the Great is here. Go ahead.
Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
So they was giving him, look, everybody was paying him. Like he went throughout the earth. Alexander the Great was the first so-called white man to conquer all dark nations. He was the first one to do that. All right. And when he did it with force. He did it and stomped on them. He Hellenized everybody. Alexander the Great, the Greeks came through, and when they came through, it was so bad, they Hellenized everybody. Everybody was speaking Greek. Everybody spoke Greek, right? Let me give you an example, right? This book right here is called The Hellenistic Civilization and the Jews, right? I'm going to read, what page? I'm going to go to page 292 in this book. And page 292. Don't forget to read the name of that book. Now, this is going to give you, this is an outside source. And this outside source is going to talk about how the Greeks stamped everybody. But especially it especially makes a reference to the Jews right here. All right. Remember, this is about the Hellenization of the Jews. Read.
This is the book called The Hellenistic Civilization and the Jews by Victor Cherekova. It says on page 292, thus, in the course of the Hellenistic period, the Jews became dispersed over the whole Greek world. As early as 140 BCE, approximately.
So we was dispersed over the whole Greek world. Go ahead.
The author of the Sibylline Oracles testifies that the whole land and sea are full of Jews.
The what?
That the whole, quote, that the whole land and sea are full of Jews.
Full of Jews. And those ain't white. He ain't talking about no so-called white man neither. Go ahead.
Right. Strabel's assertion that the Jew had reached every town, and it is hard to find a place in the world where this race has not penetrated and where it has not obtained a hold, refers to the period of Sulla about the year 85 BCE. Josephus speaks in the same language of the diaspora communities. There is no people in the world among whom part of our brethren is not to be found.
Not to be found. We were everywhere.
Right.
Just like we are now, everywhere. Go ahead.
And elsewhere, he writes, the Jewish race is scattered over the entire world among the local inhabitants. Philo speaks of the wide expansion of the Jews throughout the world and of Jerusalem as the center of that scattered and sundered nation.
That's it.
You want all the underline?
Con.
Okay, con. It says it just has power underlined.
That's the why. Unfortunately, out here where we live in Smyrna, they got a horn that they play. This horn, this siren that they've been playing, this siren been playing since there was since the Jim Crow era. And that siren is an indication to let us know that now Negroes can go in town and go shopping. They still play it to this day. So that's what you're hearing right now. It's crazy. It's real crazy that this is sick. So give it a second, and once this stops, then we're gonna continue. So we were scattered all over the place, and all over that place we spoke Greek. We were Hellenized. So Alexander the Great, when he came through, he did his job. He came through and Hellenized everybody. What is Hellenized? Hellenized means that you took on the culture of another nation, of a Greek. Can you look that up in the Zandavan? All right. So this is what's taking place. So now we get a chance to get a good picture of what Alexander the Great was doing. All right. Remember, he had just conquered who? The Persians and the Medes. So by conquering them, now the Persians and the Medes speaking Greek. Everybody was speaking Greek. You got it?
Come.
Read.
This is the Zondervan, the compact Zondervan Bible Dictionary, page 223. Hellenists, Jews who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. Acts chapter 6.
Read that again. Salakia.
It says Hellenists. Jews.
Salakia. Helen, that's the word that's translated Greek in the New Testament.
Right.
Helen. All right, go ahead.
Hellenists, Jews who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices.
It's just like becoming Americanized. It's like becoming an American and becoming Americanized. You can actually live anywhere in the world and be Americanized. That's Hellenized. You're taking on the culture. You're taking on the vibe of an American. So when you're Hellenized, you're taking on the vibe. You're taking on the spirit of a Greek. All right? Anything else on that?
Nah, sir.
All right, that's what you're doing. Let's get back. The book of Maccabee. We stopped at verse 5. You read 4, we stopped at 5.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 5.
Come on.
And after these things, he fell sick.
He did what?
He fell sick.
And we ain't talking about he caught a cold. Go ahead.
And perceived that he should die.
That he died. So remember, at his top, it says that at this point in verse 4, read verse 4 again.
Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
So he became strong. He became great. He became powerful. Go back to Daniel chapter 8 and verse 8. Let's see if it's harmony here. Let's see if it's a reason why they should have took the Apocrypha out right here. Well, now we already see that they shouldn't have took it out based on what we read when they talked about the ram and Alec and the Greeks fighting. But let's see what it has to say from this perspective. You got it? Read.
Therefore the he-goat.
The what?
Therefore the he-goat.
We know who the he-goat was. The he-goat was who? Alexander the Great. It was the Greeks, right? Read.
Waxed very great.
So remember, we just read that he was strong. He waxed strong. Go ahead.
And when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
He was broken. Go ahead.
And for it came up 4 notable.
Right, let's stop right there. So therefore the he-goat waxed very great. And when he was strong, the great horn. What is the horn? The horn is Alexander the Great. It was broken. So this Daniel chapter 8 is saying that the goat, the horn of the goat was broke. So now when we go back to First Maccabee chapter 1 and verse 5, read that one again.
And after these things, he fell sick.
Come on.
And perceived that he should die.
So now we see that in Daniel 8 and 8, when it says, therefore the goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. We know what that is talking about in the book of Daniel. It's saying that Alexander the Great, when he's at the top of his reign, when he's in his prime, the Most High gonna kill him. He gonna die. We see the harmony. All right. First Maccabee 1 and 6, read.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
So while he was yet alive, now I want you to go back to the book of Daniel. We got to make sure that we tight. We don't want to leave no rocks, no bricks. We don't want to leave nothing unturned. We want to check everything. In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, this is how we do it. This is how we get truth. We take our time. We do precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. We get down to business. We get down to the truth. What you got,
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 8.
Now, remember, we just read in verse 8, in the beginning, it says, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. So we just read that he died. But then it reads, read.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
So now we see in the book of First Maccabee, we see who that was. Now let's go back again. Baba Kasha. I know we going back and forth, but I really want you to see the harmony in the two. And then you want to ask yourself, well, why did they take it out? What was the purpose of taking that out the scriptures? Really? Right? All right, you got it?
Come on.
Let's get it.
Verse 6, wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Go ahead.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Remember, he waxed great. And when he waxed great, he was broken. Before he died, before he died, he spread it. He gave out he spread it out his victory. He spread it out what he had conquered. And he spreaded it of 4 men. Can you pull those can you Google that and pull those 4 men up for me, Baba Kasha? So recap, because we want to make sure that you get this, all right? And we see that we're going back and forth. We see that, right? We see, and we want to make sure that we keep you on pace and online right with us. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you to understand those four notable men, that is real history. That's real history that you can go right to your phone and you can pull up that history. And when you pull up that history, you can see that you got it up?
Come on, sir.
All right. Do you got it on the screen or will you get it?
All right. 1 second.
Pull it up on the screen so that they can see it, because they need to see this. Y'all need to understand that the Apocrypha was taken out. That was taken out strategically. They knew exactly what they was doing, and they knew why they did it. Keep in mind, nowhere in the scriptures does it show any nation, especially a white man, conquering anything. But now it's showing that they're conquering everything. You got it up?
Come on.
Let's get it. And then we're going to, and after we go through this, then we're going to bring it all home and we're going to wrap this thing up so you can see exactly why we're bringing this out and showing that they took this out of the Bible. All right.
All right. Is it up on screen yet?
I just put it up.
All right. It says, when he was asked who should succeed him, Alexander said, the strongest, which answer led to his empire being divided between 4 of his generals.
So see now look, this is on Wikipedia. This is on the internet. We actually went and looked this up, right? Go ahead.
Cassander, Ptolemy, Antigonus, and Seleucus.
All right. So now Ptolemy took Egypt.
Come.
And then Seleucus took Syria, right? And Cassandra took Macedonia, and what's the other one? The last one he took Asia Minor.
I'm gonna try to find the map, sir.
Look. So this is real world history. You don't got to pull the map up. You don't got to pull the map up. Let's get right back to the book of Maccabee, because I want to make sure that we get this harmony right here. I want to make sure that all of this lines up and they see that it was no reason to take that out. So far, there's no reason to take out the Apocrypha. There's no reason why to take it out. But it would if they were trying to hide this, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so let's go back to First Maccabee chapter 1 and verse 9.
Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils was multiplied in the earth. So it's saying now at this point, give me Job 9:24. He's saying now at this point, at this moment, the scriptures is saying evil was multiplied on the earth. Why is it saying that? Why is he saying after Alexander the Great died, and then after he died, he spread it out and gave up and crowned 4 notable men? Why is it saying that evil began to spread on the earth? Let's get it.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The what?
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Look, just like the Most High put Pharaoh in place, just like the Most High put the Persians and the Medes in place, just like he did that, the Most High, he put the Grecians in place. He put the Grecians in place. He put them in position. All right? The Most High did that. Read that again.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Only the Most High can do this. The Most High gave it to Alexander the Greek and those 4 notable men. And when he did it, evil was given. Evil was spread throughout the earth. And it was given unto the hands of the wicked. Read.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
That's what they did to us. They covered the faces of the judges thereof. Remember, they went in and they whitewashed everything. Go ahead.
If not, where and who is he?
Where and who is he? Where and who is he? So now let's go back to the book of Maccabees. So now when the so-called white man, which is Alexander the Great, go and conquer these nations, and then he give it to his 4 notable men, which are 4 so-called white men. Let me give you some insight. This is the reason why Egypt is preserved the way it's preserved. It's because Esau went in there. Esau went in there and Ptolemy became the first white pharaoh. Matter of fact, if y'all want to get critical about it, I'm gonna throw a bone out there. The actual Rosetta Stone that the Kemetic community used to read the hieroglyphics, that was written by white people, so-called white man. That was written by the Ptolemies. That was during the time of Ptolemy when the Rosetta Stone was written. So the very thing that they're using to translate everything was written by Esau. So who your daddy? You know who it is. Your daddy is Esau. Back to Maccabee.
Okay, book of First Maccabees, chapter 1.
Verse 10.
Verse 10.
Come on.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
A what?
A wicked root.
Come on.
Antiochus.
Come on.
Surname Epiphanes.
Read.
Son of Antiochus the king.
Come on.
Who had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
All right. So now we see in verse 10 that a wicked root came up. So now let's go back to the book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 9. All right, you got it?
Come.
Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 9.
Come on.
And out of one of them,
remember, we just read Antiochus came out of one of them, a wicked root. Antiochus, surname Epiphanes, right? Epiphanes. Go ahead.
Came forth a little horn.
Come on.
Which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
Towards the pleasant land. So now this is coming towards us. The pleasant land is talking about us. Now we're going to go to the book of Maccabee. We're about to ride a little bit. Go to Maccabee 1 and 11. Now remember, it says that he was going where? towards the pleasant land. Now, perfect harmony. No reason why this should be coming out of the scriptures, right? Out of the Bible. It's no reason, right? Or is it a reason? Let me ask you a question. If you was the descendants of Alexander the Great, would you take that out? Would you take out the Apocrypha if it says that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked and wickedness was divided on the earth during your people? Would you take it out the Bible? If you were in charge, of course you will. Come on out.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Read.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Remember, he went towards the pleasant land. Come on.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Now, this is an example of what we have today, where we have our pastors today. They would be considered the wicked men that will persuade the people. They persuade you when you come to church. This will be our Genogenesis, Genies, or whatever this name is Geno. It would be him. It would be Creflo. It would be T.D. Jakes. It would be all of these men that's leading our people and persuading our people to do what? To make a covenant with the nations around us. They do that. When you say that we can all be saved together, you're making a covenant with them. You're doing something that's contrary to scripture. The Bible says that the covenant is between the house of Israel and the house of Judah. It doesn't say it's between the house of Israel and the house of Judah and everybody else. But when you come along and you say, yeah, salvation is for everybody, you're only getting that from the wicked men that is going out from us and persuading you that this is the right way. These are the ones that's persuading you that water baptism is the right way. These are the ones that's persuading you to say, forgive Esau for everything that he did.
Right.
These are the ones that's persuading you to celebrate your own demise when you celebrate Thanksgiving. These are the ones that's doing this. They are the ones that's doing this. Nobody else. All right. So when it says in verse 11, in those days went out of Israel wicked men, those are those wicked men. Those wicked men, oh, woe be unto the pastor that destroy and scatter my sheep, says the Lord. That's them. All right. Let's get back to First Maccabees 1 and 12.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 12.
Come on.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Come on.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
So now this is where it gets really important. And another reason. So now we see that they took it out of the Bible. They took the Apocrypha out of the Bible for that reason. Now I'm going to show you another reason why it's vital to take this out of the Bible. Verse 13, Salakia, verse 15.
And made themselves uncircumcised.
Made themselves what?
Uncircumcised.
Come on.
And forsook the holy covenant.
Come on.
And joined themselves to the heathen.
So now they made themselves uncircumcised. And they joined themselves to the heathen. You know, when they joined themselves to the heathens, you know what they did? They made themselves citizens with the heathens. They made themselves Hellenized. And they did not circumcise themselves. So they became what? Uncircumcised, right? So remember, our people was persuaded to do this. Our people was persuaded to forsake the law. Our people was persuaded not to be circumcised. So now this is going to do what? This is going to start to develop a culture. And they also did this, verse 41.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Should be what?
One people.
Don't that sound familiar? Now, notice that we should all be one people. No, the only place in the Bible we see language like this is the Tower of Babel. And we know that the Most High was not pleased with the Tower of Babel.
Right.
And now we see it today under this quote unquote constitution that we're all one people. You hear this a lot when you talk to our people. Oh, we all human.
Right.
We all people.
Right.
So this language is never mentioned nowhere in the scriptures that we become one with nations outside of us. So this is the first time that we see where a ruler says these words. Read it again, huh?
Moreover, Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41.
Come on.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Should be one people. If that ain't America. See, this spirit right here of bringing us and integrating us and joining us all together, this is not our spirit. This is not something that we do. This is not something that the Most High has commissioned us to do at all. So when he says that all should be one people, that's what we did. We became uncircumcised. We became Hellenized. And we all became one people right along with everybody else. This is what took place. This is what happened. Now you have to ask yourself, is that a reason to take the Apocrypha out of the Bible? Is that a reason to do it? Absolutely not. It's not a reason to do it. But it's a reason to do it on their behalf, because this is what they say. This is what we teach, that we all one people, that we're all the same, and we're far from it. We're far from it. Then I want to take you down to verse 25. And when he get back, see if I can pull it up. Verse 25. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull it up. But when he come back and pull it up, it says, now notice, all of this stuff is new to us. Becoming one people, becoming uncircumcised. Give me verse 26. Becoming uncircumcised. All of these things is new. This is not a part of our culture. This is not a part of our law. So what's going on? We're becoming Gentiles right here. If we're not being circumcised and we forsaking the law and we're becoming citizens of the land, we becoming Hellenized, we're becoming Greeks. So this is new to us. Verse 26.
Verse 26. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 26.
Come on.
So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed.
That's the part that's heavy for me. Because what we said is beauty changed. Afro, gone. Woolly hair, out of the picture. Because beauty had changed for us. So now the wool, the sheep hair is not the hair that's attracted to us. It's the goat hair that's attracted to us. It's the very thing that is the opposite of the wool. And guess what? Beauty changed. Now, brown eyes ain't beautiful no more. Now it's blue eyes is beautiful now. And my brown skin, my black skin ain't good enough now because beauty has changed now. So now the Gentiles that came in and conquered us, now I'm looking at them and I'm saying, you know what? It's all right. It looks beautiful. This is the reason why in Nigeria, they don't have white models. They don't have white models no more because they see the damage of what happens when you let another nation rule your airwaves, rule your commercials, rule everything. They see the results of it. you become destroyed, like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in this country. All right? Verse 42, 1 Maccabee 1 and 42.
Verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed, according to the commandment of the king.
Come on.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
See, this is what we did. Listen, when we start rehearsing and practicing what they do, their 4th of Julys, I got it, their Thanksgivings, their Christmases, their New Year's, we're conceding to that. We'll fall under the line right there, verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites conceded to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profane the Sabbath. We profane the Sabbath all the time now. As a people, that's what we do. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 44, for the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah.
Come on.
That they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice flying sweats and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
Leave their children what?
Uncircumcised.
So it's a lot of things that's going on. Number one, we're not doing the ceremony and laws. We're not doing the laws, statutes, and the commandments at this point. We're not being circumcised at this point. We're not doing anything that shows that we fear the Most High God. We're showing that we fear Antiochus, because Antiochus put an end to everything, right? Go to back to Daniel 8 and 11. Salakia, Daniel 8, 10, and 11. And that'll wrap up Daniel 8, 1 through 12. This will wrap it up. What we just read is what Antiochus did. Remember, it says that he sent out a letter. So that means he sent out a decree. And when he sent out a decree, he said he forbid burnt offerings. He forbid sacrifices. He forbid drink offering. He forbid anything for us to do. And the scriptures have prophesied that this would happen in the book of Daniel. Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 10.
Come on.
And it waxed great even to the host of heaven.
Come on.
And it cast down some of the hosts.
Read.
And of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
That's us becoming Hellenized. Read.
Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host.
Come on.
And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away.
Come on.
And the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
All right. So now you can go back. So now we see, this is the letter. We see about how he did this. We see everything in Daniel 8, 1 through 12. We see it manifested right here. But we're going to go a little further. So remember, not being circumcised. All right, we're going to go to one more. We're going to go to 2 Maccabee chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 5. All right. So now we're seeing all of this take place. We're seeing that no more sacrifices, no more burnt offering, no more drink offering, no more offering, period. And you can't be circumcised. This became a lifestyle, a generation of people. That generation died, another generation came. And remember, when that other generation came, they wasn't doing none of the laws. They wasn't doing the statutes, the commandments, the burnt offering, sacrifices, none of those things. It was very serious for us that we could not follow the Most High God's law, right? You got that second Maccabee?
Come.
Let's get it.
Book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 5. The altar was filled with profane things.
Remember, we just read about them sacrifice of swine. Go ahead.
Which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
Come on.
Or ancient feasts.
Read.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Now he stepped it up. Not only could we not do sacrifices, not only could we not do burnt offering, not only could we not circumcise our children, but guess what? You couldn't call yourself a Jew. You couldn't call yourself an Israelite. Does that sound familiar today? Right now, today, you can be anything in this country except what? A Jew. You can't be an Israelite in this country. If you say you're an Israelite in this country, boy, woo, you're going to go through, you're going to be like Kyrie, bending over and coughing. All right, go ahead.
Verse 7, and in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
So we were forced. We had to celebrate the birthday of the king. We had to, whatever they wanted us to do. So now we're being conformed. So now we can't be called a Jew. We're doing birthdays now. We're celebrating all of their feasts now, speaking their language, not being circumcised. We have full-fledged, have become Gentiles. Go down to
Salaka, sir, if I may. That when I was just reading that about the celebrating the birthdays every month, and that part where they said the last part, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. It reminds me of how we do it in the Black community. The first person be holding the birthday cake and everybody be in procession right behind them, coming in and ushering in the birthday cake to this whoever's birthday it is that they're celebrating in procession. They all lined up behind that cake, and that's that symbolizes this what we were forced to do. And then we were forced to do it with bitter constraint, it says. Today we gladly do it. We willfully do it. We mad if we can't do it for your birthday.
And look, and now remember, they were bitter right here. But that's my whole point. After that generation left, the other generation came, they were taught it, and guess what? Now they rolling. They rolling now. Now they not called Jews no more because you couldn't be called a Jew. Right? And you couldn't do sacrifices, so you can't follow none of the laws that give you identity on who you are. And you can't do anything. You can't be nothing. Like, you have to become a Greek. You had to become Hellenized. Verse 9.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death.
So guess what? If you didn't do it, you dead. But if you did do it, you live. This is how they can get you and how they got us to stop being who we are. Think about it. Y'all know the story. Y'all know Kuta Kinte and Toby.
Right.
That was a beat. He could have died if he didn't say his name was Toby. This is what we had to deal with. So if anybody did not become a Gentile, mean if you did not become a Hellenized, you would be killed. Go ahead. Anything else?
Did you want me to keep reading?
That was it on that?
Oh, then might a man have seen the present misery.
All right. So now we got all of this. We got all of this information. Why did they take it out? Why did they take it out? Because you would have realized that something was going on. When you read things like this, go to John 7. That's 7 and 35. 7 and 35. Start at verse 33. Because now you have to look at Gentiles differently. at this point. Why? Because Israelites were called Gentiles. You just read it. It said that they couldn't be called Jew. They couldn't be called the Israel. So they had to be called a Gentile. That's what they had to be. And that means that there was lost Israelites out there that was called Gentiles. So when you read John 7 and 33 through 35, it changes your perspective on things. Go ahead.
Then said Yahushua unto them, yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me.
Come on.
Ye shall seek me and shall not find me. And where I am, thither ye cannot come.
So now this is what he said to the Jews. Now listen to what the Jews said, because the Jews know all this history that I just read, y'all. All that history that we just read, it was still present. They didn't come and take it out yet. So it's still present. Go ahead.
Then said the Jews among themselves,
come on,
whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
So now that changes. Now you got to look at that differently. When he said, look, the Jews are never, ever promoting. I'm talking about these Jews right here. They're not promoting going out teaching the Gentiles. I'm talking about real Gentiles. They'll never promote that. Remember, according to the Christians today, that's what Paul was doing, and they were, quote unquote, against that, because they would be against teaching real Gentiles. But listen to what he said. Then said the Jews among themselves, where he go? Where will the Messiah go? That we should not find him. Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Well, who is the dispersed among the Gentiles? Those were the Israelites that we're talking about. Right. Those are the ones that couldn't celebrate the law, couldn't celebrate sacrifices and ceremonial laws and drink offering, or none of that. They couldn't do none of that. So they would be the dispersed that was among the Gentiles. What? And teach the Gentiles. Well, who would the Gentiles be? The Gentiles would be the Israelites. So he's saying, well, you going to go among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? These are two different type of Gentiles right here. These are not the same. Give me Colossians 2. I think that's Colossians 2 and 9. This is a scripture that a lot of Christians like to use, right? They'll go to this scripture and they'll read it and they'll say, oh, see what this is saying right here? Ain't that Colossians 2? No, that's not true. Where it talks about drink offerings, and where is that at?
16.
Is that verse 16? Yeah, Con. Read that. Put that up on the board and read that. Now look, you want to take the history with you to these documents. You don't want to be like a slave that received the 66 books and was told that the Old Testament is done away with. And that's all you got to do is go and read the New Testament, because when you read the New Testament, you're reading it from America's linguistics. You're reading it from America's understanding. You already have a presupposition. We don't want you to do that right now. We want you to take the history that we just read from the Apocrypha. We want you to take the fact that Alexander the Greek came in and Hellenized everybody. We want you to take all that into mind, that they couldn't do sacrifices. They couldn't do drink offerings. They couldn't do none of those things. And because of that, Judah didn't want to bang with them. They were considered unclean. They wasn't considered to be walking in faith. So now when you read this, read.
Book of Colossians chapter 2, verse 16.
Come on.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days.
So now, why is he saying that? Now you can put it in perspective. You know those people, those Israelites that we read about in Maccabee, in First Maccabee and Second Maccabee, that couldn't be called Jews? You know those Israelites that couldn't be circumcised? You know those Israelites that couldn't do any of the ceremonial laws or sacrifices or anything drink offering? Paul is Salakia. Yeah, Paul is saying right here to them. He's speaking to Gentile Israelites, and he's saying, read that again, huh?
Verse 16.
Come
Let
on.
no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day.
So that's what he's saying. He said, listen, we know that you wasn't doing that before because back then it was under the old covenant. But now Yahushua has come, the king has come. Now you can come back. Now he's saying, let no man judge you. Read that again, huh?
Book of Colossians chapter 2, verse 16.
Come on.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day.
Come on.
Or of the new moon.
Read.
Or of the Sabbath days.
Don't let nobody judge you because you didn't do that. Don't let the Jews that's in the land and the Pharisees that's in the land, don't let them judge you based on that. Look, history shows that we were forced to do that, but now Yahushua has come back. Give me Ephesians chapter 2. Now Yahushua has come back. And now Yahushua has come back. Now this right here can take place. Colossians chapter 2 and verse 1. Ephesians 2 and 1. Now keep that in mind. And you have to keep all those things in mind. What they took out the Bible, the Apocrypha, you have to keep these things in mind to lead up to the New Testament. Go ahead.
And you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sin. Salaki, this is the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1.
Come on.
And you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins.
So when you was walking around dead in your trespasses of sin, because you wasn't, remember, they had become Gentiles. We had become Gentiles. We wasn't following the law. We wasn't doing anything. But now the Messiah has returned. The Messiah has come. And now the new covenant has taken place. And now we can come back. That's what Paul is saying. Paul is saying now you can come back. So when you were quickened in your trespasses of sin. Read.
Verse 2, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world.
So you did that. Why? Gentile Israelites did that because they were forced to do that, and then they were raised in that culture generation later.
Right.
Generations and generations had taken place. They were raised in that. Alexander the Great, he had came on the scene in 300 AD. Now we're talking about BC at this point. So generations had taken place. Now Paul is saying you can come back. Go ahead.
According to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
Come on.
Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past.
So Paul is letting everyone know, listen, in time past, we all was there. So once again, a Jew can't boast against a Gentile Israelite. Why? Because we all once was there. Go ahead.
In the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh.
Come on.
And of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath.
Come on.
Even as others.
Go ahead.
But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Christ. By grace ye are saved.
So when it says by grace, it wasn't by any works. It was by the Most High grace that those that was outside of the covenant, now they can come back. Now they're circumcised. Salakia, they're uncircumcision. Now it can turn to circumcision. How? Because they'll do the things pertain in the law. Go down to verse 11. We can go 11 through 13 in closing.
Wherefore remember that ye, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh.
So you were a Gentile in the flesh. Why? Because you was walking contrary to the Most High God's law. You wasn't living according to the covenant that was made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob had the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 tribes of Israel are the ones that received that covenant. You were walking contrary to that. Go ahead.
Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh.
So what he's saying right here is, he's saying who were called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision. The circumcision would have been the Jews. Those are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Those are the ones that was in the land. Those are the ones that was practicing the laws, statutes, and the commandments, not correctly, but they were there. All right. And they were called circumcision. But the uncircumcision, those were the Israelites that was walking contrary to the law and not living in the land. So they were called that. Read that again, verse 12 out.
Verse 11.
Verse 12. Salakia, verse 11. Salakia.
Okay. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh.
Remember, he said, don't let no man judge you by drinks and sacrifices and Sabbath day. Because in time past, remember, in time past, you was a Gentile in the flesh. Read.
Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands.
So Peter and them was called circumcision. They were called the circumcision, right? And the Israelite Gentiles that was outside of there, they were called the uncircumcised. So that's why he says, which is called by the circumcision, which is made by hand. Verse 12.
That at that time ye were without Christ.
So the Israelite Gentiles, they were without Christ. Read.
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world.
So under that old covenant, that was the state they were in. Under the old covenant, they was outside the commonwealth of Israel. They were strangers. They were aliens. They was foreigners. They was Gentiles. They was uncircumcised. Read.
Verse 13. But now in Yahushua Mashiach, ye who sometimes were far off.
You aware?
Who sometimes were far off.
Come on.
Are made nigh by the blood of Mashiach.
So now you're brought back to the Most High by that sacrifice. Remember, there's no remission of sin without what? The shedding of the blood. Verse 19 through 22.
Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God.
So now Paul is letting them know that now you can come back. All of those things that we read about in the Maccabees, and now those children from those Jews that was forced not to be called Jew, now they can come back. Now, therefore, they are no more strangers and foreigners, but now they're citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High Power. Read.
At verse 20, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone.
Come on.
In whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord.
Read.
In whom you also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit.
So that's what it's speaking about. This is the reason why they took those books out of the Apocrypha. They took those books out of the Apocrypha because they don't want you to know that in the New Testament, the Gentiles are Israelites. They don't want you to know that in the New Testament, the uncircumcised, those are Israelites. They don't want you to know that the covenant and the promise and all of those things was only given to the Israelites. And this is what happens when you take out this history. Remember, this is history. So you're trying to understand the New Testament without vital history
Right.
that they took out. All right. So any questions in the room? Any questions online? I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Mataziala. You too.
ISUPK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months.